guys, I'm Leslie. Welcome back to So Sweet. Do you see these? All those tomatoes? I've waited over a year to have tomatoes like these. Last year in my first garden, I had 5 tomato plants. With that, I had 4 varieties. I had Better Boy, Thai Pink, Egg. Last year I got it wrong every time. Roma and Big Rainbow. Big Rainbow probably was my favorite, but I didn't get to have one of my own. Luckily my mom gave me one of hers to try. That's what happens when your garden doesn't get any water and your tomatoes have a rough start. My soil wasn't great, and it was the first time I had ever gardened. My tomatoes were far behind the rest. You know, as everyone's pulling tomatoes off their plants, I'm looking at mine hoping that they'll turn colors. And so far this year, I mean, we're mid-July, and as you can see, I've got tons of tomatoes, but I haven't had one yet out of my own garden. So like I said, last year I had 5 tomato plants, and this year I've planted 60. It's gonna be a lot of work. 60 tomato plants. I've gotta learn how to preserve it all because I haven't ever canned tomato stuff. In fact, I haven't ever canned. I've only helped cut peaches to put in jars to can. I didn't do any of the rest of the stuff. So like I said, I've got a lot to learn. The reactions I get when I tell people I have 60 tomato plants, they tell me I'm in way over my head. And maybe I am, but that's why I planted 60 tomato plants. In fact, I want a lot more. I want the homegrown spaghetti sauce. I want diced tomatoes, tomato sauce. I want enchilada sauce. I want pizza sauce, and I want it to last hopefully a whole year. I don't think it will last that long, but if I can get it to last for most of the year, not only am I gonna be happy, but my kids and my husband are gonna be happy, because homegrown tastes better. It does. I don't know if you guys know that, but it tastes so much better. So I think at this point you guys know that I want it all when it comes to tomatoes. That was my big storage item that I knew that we needed to work on, and that if we had a lot of it, it would take us a long way throughout the year. I think it'd be awesome if we could have tomato produce all the way until next year. There are multiple reasons why I grew this many tomatoes, and I want the food all year. One of the first reasons being is I know that these are pesticide free. I don't have to worry about what anybody else put on these tomatoes because I grew them and I know what I put on them. It just got so much brighter. The second reason is because I'm learning tons from growing this many tomatoes. I have different varieties. I've got big and little. I have paste tomatoes and big beefsteak, and I think it's called beefsteak. I'm pretty sure. There's slicers. There's so many different kinds. And I'm excited to taste them all because honestly, most of them I haven't even tried yet. And that brings me to a third reason. You can't get all these varieties in a store. You get Romas from the grocery store. You can get a red cherry tomato. I think they started carrying a yellow cherry tomato. And you can get the ones you can slice, you know, for your sandwiches. They're all red, and they're all the same varieties. Because I'm growing my own, I can have all the varieties I want. I'm growing purple ones, yellow ones, orange ones, red ones. Last year, I even had pink ones. So I'm excited for all these varieties. And that right there is a huge, huge reason to grow your own tomatoes. But my biggest reason is the taste. How tomatoes taste from the store. In fact, let me put it this way. Every year I would taste a tomato and think, bleh. Which, for a lot of people love tomatoes. So they don't understand that so much. Like, how could this person not love tomatoes? I didn't used to love tomatoes. I try them about every year because I try to eat things I, might not like, and hope that my taste buds have changed so that I'll like these, fruits and vegetables or whatever it is. And I remember when I was young, I tried a tomato once at my cousin's house. It was the biggest tomato in their garden. They picked it, and they started snacking on it. Now, they offered me some of that tomato, and at first I was hesitant. I tried it, and I loved it. And then, at home, my mom had a tomato there. It wasn't during garden season, and so that tomato was from the store. I ate that tomato, and it stunk. And I didn't know that homegrown tastes better. Like, a lot better. Homegrown is literally where it's at. If you want good spaghetti sauce, you grow your tomatoes. If you want just a good sandwich, a BLT, grow your own tomatoes, because those tomatoes make all of the difference. And I didn't know that until last year. My sister was pointing out to me that they just don't taste the same. So even though my garden didn't do great last year, I got to have tomatoes from my sister's garden, my mom's garden, and even my uncle's garden. And his tomatoes were really good. If you don't know the difference between store-bought and homegrown tomatoes, then I suggest, in fact, I challenge you to go find somebody who has tomatoes growing in their garden and ask them if you could have one. And then go buy one from the store and taste test them at the same time. The difference is actually quite shocking. That's why I'm growing 60 tomato plants. That's why I'm putting in all the work to preserve my tomatoes. That's why my husband went with me and we bought over $400 worth of canning jars. That's why, so we can all enjoy homegrown, fresh, healthy, hearty tomatoes. So if you get the chance, eat a tomato that has been homegrown. Just try it. Even if you didn't like it in the past, give it another chance. I think you'll see why growing a ton of tomato plants isn't silly. It's smart. Until next time, bye. I expected this to happen. I didn't think it would happen when I had the camera in my hand. So I didn't catch it on film. And I wasn't gonna wait to get it out of my hair, but that just happened and it was gross. And I freaked out. It was awful.